Best combi boiler ever made. My name's Alan Hart, and today I'm going to give you my opinion on the best, or one of the best, combi boilers ever made. First of all, what we're going to do, I'm going to go do a boiler service on a Baxi 600, and then after we've done that, I'll show you the next job, which is the boiler which I think is one of the best boilers ever made. The boiler is almost 20 years old. It's a combi boiler, and yeah, let's go and have a look. This is the Baxi 630, so it's the Baxi 600 range of combi boiler. It's 2 years old now. What we'll do, we'll have a look inside. Yeah, I installed this onto a Nest thermostat, and I also installed it onto open firm. So I'll show you the open firm connections on this as well. So yeah, let's have a look. Just before we move on, I'd like you to, if you could, just add a comment below and tell me which boiler you think, or which boiler you feel is best, and then see if we agree at the end. This is a Baxi 600 combi boiler. It's got a Fernox Amiga filter on this, and it's also got a Nest thermostat as well. So that's the heat link for the Nest. Ideally, you'd do that a little bit away from the boiler, but we've installed it there, we've tested it, and the signal's fine and it all works perfect. So we've just left it there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take screws out at bottom of the case, and we'll take case off and we'll have a look inside. As always with boilers, if you're going to remove the case, you must be gas safe registered or competent to do so. So just take this case off now, and if we have a look inside, some people say, well, we can take case off because we're not going into the combustion area. Well, actually, when you take this front cover off here, this front cover has the seal on it there, and this is part of the flue, because this is the air intake on this side. So in here is the air that comes in from the outside. So you shouldn't be removing this unless you're competent, unless you're gas safe. So what you do now, you do your electrical checks on this, make sure it's all safe. But what I want to do is I just want to show you the connections for the open firm. And if you have a look there, you've got a grey and a black. And if we have a look where the link would normally be, so that's where your link would normally be for your thermostat, but we've removed that, and then we've just got the open firm connections in there for the Nest. If we have a look inside this boiler, we've got the Grundfos pump, which is, I don't know if you can see there, but it's the 1560 pump, and that's the ERP pump. We've got your PRV there, forward facing, so if you ever need to do out with that, it's very easy to get to and work on. The burner, the heat exchanger here, stainless steel, and then you've got your burner part on your burner door there, which we're going to remove now in a minute. And then on this side here, you've got your expansion vessel for your central heating. And on the top of this boiler, you've got your Schrader valve, so you'll be able to pump that up should it need pumping up. So what I'll do now is I'll take this combustion door off here, and we'll have a look inside and see what it looks like after 12 months. The spur for this is just down here, so I'm going to turn this spur off, and then I'm going to remove this fuse here. It's a little bit awkward today because I ain't got a tripod or all like that, but as you can see there, I've removed the fuse. We've checked the fuse, so the fuse needs to be a 3 amp fuse. I'm then going to do my electrical checks on the boiler just to make sure, and as I say, as with anything, make sure you go on the appropriate training courses to make sure that you're competent in electrics if you're going to have a look inside any areas like this. But I'm just going to check that it's still dead. I did do one of these one time. A local installer had installed a boiler, and I took the fuse out like that, and that was at the side of the boiler. And these two here, these were dead. But what had happened is the other installer had put a separate live feed into these connections here, so the boiler was still live. If I hadn't have done these electrical checks, I would have got electric shock. So it's very important that you keep safe. You can just see on there, there's no voltage on there, so we know that it's off, we know it's isolated. I have done another video on electrics. If you have a look on the S plan, I think it's S plan 1, there's some in there that shows a bit of with multimeter. But yeah, right, so now what we'll do, we'll have a look inside the combustion cover, burner door. I'll take the burner door out, should I say. I've just removed the little catch off there. Just take this intake off, and then I'm just going to remove the leads. Off there. So that's just a 10mm socket for them nuts there. If we have a look inside the heat exchanger, you can see there's a little bit of muck just at the back, but it's all quite clean in there. And then once we've disturbed this, we need to make sure that we check the burner seal, or the burner door seal, this rubber seal on here, just to make sure that that's all okay and all safe. We know that this is clean inside here, so now I'm going to just tighten this back on. I'll just show you a few things I like about this boiler, and then I'm going to show you a few things that I don't like as well. So yeah, let's have a look. I like the fact that when you look inside, it's all stainless steel. It's all easy to work on, so you can get to all the parts, and you don't need to start taking other parts out to get to parts like you do with some boilers. Baxi have really thought about this boiler, and they've really made it easy to work on. As I say, for me, the PRV there, that's brilliant. You can just get onto it. One thing I don't like these connections here. They're too small. The older boilers, the connections were a little bit bigger, so you just got to be a little bit wary of that. Some people say that it's fine and they don't mind it, but that's just my personal opinion. I like the fact that there's room up the back, so you can put pipes up back. I think that's brilliant. And when you look inside, you just see brass and stuff in there. I like that. There will eventually, this diverter cartridge here, that will fail eventually, because it's a moving part, and because it's a moving part, it goes up and down. If the system's mucky, then that will normally fail quicker. If the system's clean and you've had it flushed and it's a good job, then that will not be as faulty, or that will not go faulty as quick. Another thing I don't really like in this, and it's just a personal opinion, is this little braided hose at the back. there, and that's for expansion vessel. And that just might be me. I don't know of any issues with them, but over the years, braided hoses, rubber hoses tend to block up. So, but as I say, I don't know of any issues with this particular boiler, and it might be fine. But all in all, I think it's really good. One thing that's really good about Baxi is this, and it's something so simple, but if you get driving rain or any rain that comes down your flue, then it goes into this little gutter in here, and then it goes down this pipe here, and it goes into condensate trap there. And what you don't get then, you don't get all water and stains in back of here or damp back at that panel, which is really good. Some boilers you end up with like rain ingress inside boiler. It shouldn't happen, but it definitely does happen because I've seen it many times. So that's a really good thing. Most at Baxi have that. In fact, all of them that I'm aware of have that. So the Platinum definitely did. The Platinum, it were a bit bigger on Platinum. This video isn't designed to show you how to do a service. It's just really just to give you an insight and have a look inside a boiler and look inside something that's been working for a while, really. Customers had no issues with this boiler, you know, so it's been reliable. One of the good things with this is the test nipple is here, so we can test its inlet pressure, and we can do that with the case on. So we just need to undo that. I'll have to put camera down for that. To put this into service mode, we just need to turn it to 3 o'clock minimum, 3 o'clock minimum, and then you'll see it'll go on. So now that's in service mode and we're on maximum on there. If we want to turn it to low, so for his analyzer, we can put it onto minimum, and then that'll show us minimum. And then we just need to take that over there, put his analyzer in, and then we need to just wait for these readings. Then that'll give us the minimum because we're in minimum. Or we can do maximum. I think it says do maximum first in the book. And at the same time then, we can also have a look what the inlet pressure is on there. And then also when we go back to minimum, to test your flue, to make sure that your flue's not mixing and your flue's safe, then you take this one out and you just check in this one as well. Always check these are back in before you go. So that was the Baxi 600. Now let's go and have a look at the boiler, 20-year-old combi boiler, and it's one of the best boilers ever made in my opinion. I'd love you to comment below and tell me if you agree. It's the Baxi 105E combi boiler. This boiler, as I say, this is nearly 20 years old. It's actually about 18 years old. I used to install these many years ago. I just think they're absolutely bulletproof boilers. Really good. There's not much to go wrong with them. If you have a look at the design, it's similar to new ones. So it's got the blow off, the PRV on the front there where you can get into it. So Baxi way ahead of the time for making stuff easy to work on. If you have a look on this, you can see everything is just easy to work on. I didn't install this boiler, by the way. But yeah, so this is Grundfos pump, so it's got a low energy pump, 1560 Grundfos pump. So yeah, it's a lot like the modern ones. Plate on back, brass parts, reliable. That diaphragm does go at some point, but yeah, it's easy to change, very reliable. When you look inside, it's got a copper heat exchanger. A good clean, good service. This has got a crack on insulation panels, but as I say, it's 18 years old now, so that needs to be sorted out. Baxi 105, best combi boiler ever made. Do you agree? Please add some comments below. If you like my videos, please put a thumbs up and please click on the subscribe button. And yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah, thank you.